hereby call to order this regular meeting of the Morris Plains Board of Adjustment on February 24th, 2025. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby announce that this meeting is being held in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Proper notice of meeting dates is given in the Morris News-Bee and the Morris County Daily Record and posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Hall. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. Karen, roll call, please.
And Mr. Baza?
Here.
Mrs. Cortez?
Here.
Mr. Eaton? Mr. Carr? Mr. McCabe? Mr. Webster?
Here.
Mr. Schultz?
Here.
Mr. Rizos?
Here.
And Mr. Cianciano.
Special announcements, none. I think the next one is a brief meeting. Next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting. Are there
Okay,
any-
Mr. Schultz, on page 251, the third paragraph, it says Mr. Dryden that, it should say Mr. Dryden stated that it's not part of the application, so the word stated has to go.
Okay.
Okay?
Any other corrections? None. Is there a motion to approve the meetings as amended?
Motion.
Mr. Webster, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Rizos, voice vote, all in favor? Aye. Nays? Abstentions?
Abstain.
Motion carries. This part of the meeting is to make comment items on tonight's agenda. Are there any members of the public who wish to make comments?
No, we're just here to observe tonight.
Got it. Okay, we'll close that portion of the meeting. The first application for this evening's meeting is application BA 4-24 Yevgeny Odakov, 42 Franklin Place, block 67, lot 14. Before we go any further, does anybody have to recuse themselves on this one? Right. You can hang on the conference room for a moment. Let the record reflect that Mrs. Cortez has stepped away from the dais. I want to recuse. The application was approved at the January meeting, and tonight we have a resolution memorializing the approval. Board of Adjustment Resolution number 25-04, describing pertinent application and testimony information, findings of the board, and conditions of approval has been prepared for the board's review. Are there any suggestions or questions on the resolution, including the conditions contained therein? And if there are none, would there be a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Rice, is there a second?
Yes.
Mr. Webster? All right, and Karen, polling only those who voted yes on the application.
Okay. Mr. Webster?
Yes.
Mr. Schultz?
You can't ask me, I didn't vote yes.
And Mr. Rizos?
Yes.
All right, it takes but one yes from a voting member who said yes to approve the resolution, so the resolution is approved.
Okay, now, you can't vote on it?
I voted no for the so I can't vote on the memorialization.
Okay.
Okay, the next application for this evening's meeting is application BA 6-24, Perdemnair, 55 Malapartis Road. All right.
Are you gonna get Lisa?
All right, so I note for the record, there are two recusals. Mr. Webster and Mr. Baza are leaving, and we will give...
I'm just getting Lisa.
Okay, got it. All right, Mr. Webster is recusing. A moment. That answered your questions?
Well, you're probably gonna see us in a month. We just wanted to get a feel for the committee.
Got it.
That's all.
Any questions that you have, feel free to ask the board secretary, and also our professionals who aren't here tonight, the engineer and the planner are available for questions as well.
Who's your engineer?
Bill Ryan?
Oh, right, okay, we already know him from the last time. Karen's been very helpful, thank you.
Good, glad to hear. Okay, take care.
Bye.
All right, let the the record reflect that Mr. Webster has left and Mrs. Cortez is back. So we have Board of Adjustment Resolution number 25-05, describing pertinent application and testimony information, findings of the board, and conditions of approval for the board's review. Are there any suggestions for this resolution for the case that was approved at the January meeting? If there are none, would there be a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All right. Mrs. Cortez and Mr. Rizos. Karen, roll call, please.
Okay. Mrs. Cortez, Mr. Baza, abstain?
Abstain.
Okay. Mrs. Cortez,
Yes.
Mr. Schultz,
Yes.
and Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let's get Mr. Webster back, please. The motion passes.
Okay.
All right. Let the records show that Mr. Webster is back. On to correspondence and bills. Do we have any?
No, we do not.
All right. Is there any new business?
Excuse me, I could say that I issued everybody a draft copy of the annual report.
I'm going to cover that. So on new, we have an, I wanted to announce this, we have an application process review meeting that was called by Councilman Houston. So if you remember, about a year and a half ago, I think it was Bob, it was you, me, and Doug McCabe got together to talk about, with Liz Laney, to talk about how to improve or streamline the process associated with smaller residential applications, especially those with C variances. We got stuck a little bit because the ordinances of the borough would have to be changed. So there is an interest from the the Ordinance and Public Utilities Committee, led by Bill Houston, to streamline that process for both the zoning board and the planning board. So we had one meeting to talk about, are we on the same page? I think we are. Involved are Bill Ryden, the borough engineer, Mike Garavaglia, the planning board chair, me, and Bill Houston. We are looking at applications and checklists. There's also conversation about completeness determinations, and I'm doing a straw poll tonight of members that are here. Most municipalities that Mr. Ryden is aware of, and that I've heard of, do completeness determinations by administration. In other words, the borough professionals, in consultation typically with the board chair, make a determination of completeness. Completeness does not come to the full board. Waiver requests do, right? So on one hand, I don't want to give away the board's responsibilities to the professional. On the other hand, if it's administrative and it's simply, is this box checked, is it not, is that okay to delegate? So I'm not asking for an answer tonight. I want to talk about this again when there are more members of the board here, but that is one of the questions on the table, is who determines completeness? Is it the board, is it the professional? With an understanding that waiver requests would always come to a board. So that conversation continues. Bill Houston thinks he can have it wrapped up in a year. I'm hoping it takes about half that time. Old business. We have in front of us a hard copy of the 2024 draft annual report. Thanks to Lisa Cortez for preparing that. I would not drop it on you tonight and ask for your vote, so I will ask you to review it over the course of the next month. Mr. Sullivan will prepare a resolution, and if you have any comments, please let Karen know over the course of the next, say, 3 weeks or so we can button it up. Is there any other old business? Bob, anything old?
No.
All right. Would there be a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. 8-minute meeting, 7:38.
Lisa,
Happy
Mr. Ford.
St. Patty's Day.